Hey YouTube, today we're going to take this K&N air intake and put it in the 2017 Nissan Titan Pro4X. Is a 5.6 liter gas engine. As you can see, it's starting to rain, so we're going to put it in the garage and do it inside. So let's get to it. The kit includes some miscellaneous hoses, sleeves, the air filter element itself, some hose clamps, and the instructions. Let's go ahead and see what we need to do to actually get this installed. The first thing we're going to have to do is remove this cover. It's supposed to just pop off, I believe. With the top of the engine cover removed, we could go ahead and remove the mass airflow sensor. Just two screws you just take out, and there's a clip right here on the airbox that you disconnect. Next, we gotta release these two spring clamps, one here, one way back here. Pop this hose off. This is just a little holder here, and then take these two hose clamps off, and this entire piece here just comes off. To loosen these two hose clamps now. Just loosen them up nice and good. In this center section here should just come off with a little bit of wiggling. Alright, so I'm having a whale of a time trying to get this out with the airbox in place. So I'm going to try to take the airbox out first. There's one 10mm bolt right back here that you got to take out, and then this thing should just lift off the clamps. Just like so. And there's one little wire clip that we got to unclip back here. With the factory airbox out of the way, it's much easier to get this out. And there's one little clip we got on there right here. Alright, with all these wire clips out, this little piece just slides right out. So we have the center piece out, factory airbox out. The two 10mm mounting studs down here for the factory airbox. We're going to go ahead and remove those. Okay, I'm not sure if you could see it from this angle, but in here there's a plastic clip that holds the inner fender well. We're going to take that out. I think that's going to be replaced with a bolt. Here's the heat shield and the adapter that goes on the inside. So you put this in here and the air filter actually clamps onto this. The kit comes with this rubber seal. Now we need to cut into two lengths, 18 inches and 41 inches. The 18-inch piece goes around this edge, and the 41-inch piece goes all the way around. I'm going to go ahead and cut it and put it around there. Alright, so with the rubber installed around the heat shield, we're going to mount this in place now. You notice this little tab here? This little tab goes right back where the ECU mount came out of, and this little screw hole here goes where the little plastic piece came out of that's holding the inner fender liner. And we're gonna put a little screw from the underside up into here to hold this in place. So let's fit it in and bolt it up. At this point, it's best to tighten these bolts up loose, the one under the fender and the one at the ECU, just to get it lined up, and then we'll tighten them up after. All right, with this thing in here now, we gotta attach this coupler, and we have a couple of hose clamps. The kit comes with quite a few hose clamps, so just be careful that you install the right one in the right spot, because otherwise it's gonna be too small. And this might take a little bit of getting in here. Okay, here that goes in very easily, and we just tighten that clamp up. Just make sure it's nice and secure. Good, nice and secure in there. The kit comes with this little adapter plate and a gasket, and the gasket just sticks onto the back of the adapter plate like so. And this is what the mass airflow sensor would actually go into. You just peel the back off of this thing and just stick it onto that adapter plate. And the little guides here, so it could only really go one way. You stick it onto the adapter plate, and then you put the mass airflow sensor on. So I went ahead and used the K&N supplied hardware, because the OEM screws were going through the gasket, and these just fit perfect length. This is the main intake tube, and there are a couple of these plastic hose adapters that just run up into here. We're just going to run them up in here and snug them down real tight, and we can probably do them one at a time. We're going to install this intake tube now right here. Now recognize there's an adapter here, and there's an adapter here, and hose clamps of different sizes. So we just want to make sure when we put this in, the orientation is sufficient so that you could get the mass air sensor in here, and hoses that run from here to these that we disconnected earlier are easy to get to. Let's go ahead and install it. Now here's the trick, right? You want to know how this goes. Well, here it says K&N, and that goes on the top. It's just like real easy. What we want to do is go ahead and fit this up loosely before we tighten anything down. And I like having the screw heads for these hose clamps facing up, so it's easy to work with. Left a little bit of extra here just to be able to wiggle it around in there, okay? So I went ahead and installed the mass airflow sensor, because I realized this thing actually goes this way, where the airflow sensor plug-in is to the back this time around. So it'll be harder to put it in after the fact. So I just went ahead and installed it using the K&N supplied hardware, and tightened it down nice and tight with the opening facing this way. Let's go ahead and install this in place now. Alright, so these are in there loosely, and they're loose enough where you could move them if you need to, but they're not loose enough where things could fall apart. We just want to have it just snug enough so we could move things around in there. The last two things that get installed before we put the actual air filter in is these little adapters that go on these little hose pieces, and they go, one goes in this one to this hose, and one goes here to this hose. Let's go ahead and put those. The last thing to do now is to go ahead and install the air filter and tighten up all these here. The kit didn't come with these hose clamps, but I had them laying around, so I just went ahead and put them on just to secure all the ends. To put this thing in, you actually have to pull the housing back, the heat shield back. then go ahead and pop this in. With the air filter installed, all the clamps tightened up, the only thing left to do, plug the mass airflow sensor back up. We could secure these hoses here with some wire ties, cover the engine back, and fire up. Alright folks, here it is all buttoned back up. Let's go ahead and crank her up and see how she sounds. Hang tight. I'm gonna crank it up now. Alright, so it started right up, no engine warning lights. Next thing is to take a test drive. So here we go, the temperature gate's still on cold. I have the window open so we can hear if it sounds any different. Wow! I could hear it. Just roll the window up to reduce the buffeting. Once we get to the bottom of this hill, we're going to floor it again and just see what it sounds like. Wow, much more aggressive sound. The temperature needle just started to go up. Wow, much more aggressive sound. And I can feel it too. The engine's fully warmed up and I have all the windows up. Let's see what it feels like and sounds like now. Wow, much quicker response, much more aggressive sound, and I could feel it. I could actually feel the extra horsepower, I guess, or extra torque on it. According to K&N, this is supposed to add approximately 12 to 17 horsepower and 12 to 17 pound-feet of torque. And as the tach begins to climb, I could actually feel it when I hit it there. We'll stop a little bit further ahead and try it from a standstill. Let's go ahead and roll the windows down. It's pretty windy out today, so it's going to get pretty loud in a second. Here we go. Well, that was pretty nice. Pretty aggressive sound, pretty good acceleration. Feels way better in the seat of the pants. Now all we need to do is check and see what kind of difference in fuel mileage this would give in normal driving, not the stomping like I just did. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.